Morning, everyone. My name is Dimitris Kutchlo. I am the interim president for New York City Transit. Excited to be here. Today I'm joined by several partners. Our partners in New York City DOT have been critical. So I want to thank Udanis Rodriguez for all of his work to date. Also want to thank some of our other partners from government. We have Robert Jackson, Senator Robert Jackson, and also a lot of the work that's going on today would not be possible if it weren't for the amazing work of the buses team led by Senior Vice President Frank Annacaro. And so really grateful for his work, the work of his team to try to get to where we are right now. I'm also joined with Quamela Arroyo. I'm joined with Lisa Soren. And with that, I'll get started. Today is a great day. Many of you have been aware of our ABLE program, which is a program that focuses on snapping pictures and enforcing our bus lanes to make sure that our service is as frequent and as smooth as it should be for service. Well, today we're going to announce that we're expanding upon that with the ACE program. So, what is ACE? What does it do? How is it different? Well, ACE is different in that in addition to targeting the bus lanes, given those who are stopping for an extended period of time inside of a bus lane, it also targets those outside of the bus lanes at certain locations, folks that are parked in our bus stops, folks that are parked illegally, double parked in locations where a bus route is. And this is all about how do we improve the service that we give to our customers. And so this is a big, big change for us. This will be taking place across 14 bus routes initially, and that'll be throughout the Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Bronx areas. The bus routes that we currently have for ABLE are the locations that we'll be targeting initially, but that's just the start. Let's talk about the numbers. The reality is, this works for everyone. For performance, lines that have some type of photo enforcement are generally 5% improvement in our performance. 5% improvement just by having some form of an enforcement for cameras. For safety, the number of accidents between a bus and other vehicles is down 20% at locations where there are enforcement. Now, if that doesn't say that we should be doing this, there's really not another target. Safety is the top-notch thing that we should be focused on. For the environment, it's averaged between 5 to 10% reduction in emissions, just this change. So we've updated our technology on the existing roughly over 600 buses on the 14 routes, and we'll be looking at expanding that by the end of 2024 to over 1,000 buses and at 32 routes by the end of the year. So I often say our goal is not just about moving equipment, moving trains, moving buses. It's really about moving people, and this is one of the avenues to doing it better than what we currently do. So these enforcement initiatives allow us to do a better job in how we take care of our customers, more responsive to our customers, and ultimately our goal is to be able to get you to where you need to do. Where you're going to work, the person to get to the doctor's office, the person needs to handle that appointment in the city. We want to be able to provide them with the best means of transportation possible. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to our partner, Udanis Rodriguez.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, Dimitri, and of course, David Richard will be someone that, as BIFAN, we also know that they did a great job running our New City Transit, but I know that Dimitri also will continue working to expand the big responsibility to run the New City Transit. First of all, happy birthday to my good friend Q. It's nice to have someone that now is a chief of accessibility but he used to be in chief of accessibility for DOT. So all the work that we have seen, making the intersection accessible, also happened under his leadership. And so thank you for everything that you do. So welcome to Washington Heights, to the Street 27 de Febrero, which is at the corner, and also dedicated to the Flight 287, 587. And those of you who listen to merengue and bachata, I can tell you that in the 80s and the 90s, what used to be a gas station here used to be a location where all those bands that they came from DR to play merengue and bachata to disco to New York City. But they also had other parties to be performing in Boston, Philadelphia, and other places. This used to be the meeting spot. And I know about it because I used to be a council member for 2 years, and I also used to be a teacher for 15 years, yes, at this corner. This intersection used to be used for a fire drill. So again, thank you, and thank you to the MTA for the great job that you have done. So on behalf of Mayor Eric Adams, it is a pleasure to be here with the leadership of the MTA and Advocate to launch expanded automatic enforcement for bus-mounted cameras. Dimitri, thank you again, and Fran, for everything that you are doing. Thank you both of you for your support and close collaboration, and to the Advocate. We couldn't be here without you. Bus lanes are for buses, period. Thank you to efforts in Albany, Governor Hochul, the leadership, Mayor Adams. They worked together, and they were able to get the bill that expand authority to automatic enforcement. We now have new capability to help keep New Yorkers safe and make services faster and more reliable for tens of thousands of daily bus riders. The majority of bus routes are in mixed traffic without bus lanes, where they are often delayed by double park cars and other illegal behaviors. Now, MTA's bus-mounted cameras will be able to enforce block bus stops and double parking on routes without bus lane. This upgrade will pave the way for improved bus service while also making our streets safer for everyone, whether you're walking, driving, or riding a bike. Automatic enforcement change driver behavior. We have seen this with speed cameras. We have seen this with red light cameras. That, by the way, also New York City not only get the renewal of the red light camera, but now being expanded to 600 instead of 150 in location. We also have seen it with bus lane cameras. Only 19% of violators that receive an automatic bus camera ticket have received a second one. Just 8% of violators have received 3 or more tickets. So most people who drive, they respect the law, but there's a percentage of small, reckless drivers that they should know that the bus lane is only for our buses. Improving bus service is a matter of equity, and DOT hardworking staff is working constantly on ways to improve our city bus network. And our work is paying off all over the city. Let me give you this sample about here, 181st. Bus speed increased up to 31% after we completed this busway. And pedestrian and cycling injuries are down by 40% after we also did the bus lane here at 181st. We are continuing this great work all across the city, including right across the street along the Washington Bridge, where we are building a new bike and bus lane to help working class networkers, New Yorkers, get where they're going more equitable and reliable. Taking the bus is something that is important, especially for our working class New Yorkers. Hoy nosotros estamos aquí, un día muy importante, junto con la MTA, asegurándonos que con el liderazgo que tenemos, Dimitri y los demás, sigamos trabajando para que los choferes entiendan. Las líneas de autobuses son solamente para las guaguas, no para quienes manejamos en vehículos. Proyectos como lo que estamos haciendo con el apoyo de la gobernadora Hochul, con el chairman Llano, el alcalde Reganes, hemos logrado que Albany nos dé el apoyo necesario para ahora expandir los tickets que reciben las personas que bloqueen la línea de autobuses. Aquí en la 181 tenemos un ejemplo de cómo funciona lo que estamos haciendo. Después que nosotros hicimos el bus lane aquí en este lugar, ha habido un mejoramiento del autobús corriendo un 30%. Hemos también tenido una reducción de un 40% de peatones y ciclistas atropellando este lugar. Así es que vamos a seguir trabajando, asegurándonos de que la forma de transportación de los autobuses, que son de la clase trabajadora, sea protegida en esta ciudad. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, I will turn it over to my colleague and friend, Carmelo Arroyo, our Chief Accessibility Officer.
Thank you for that. Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here in my hometown of Washington Heights. It is a joy to be here with my brother and friend, Idanis Rodriguez, because the partnership between the city and state has never been more important. And what we're announcing today is a lot more than just movement. You've heard me say this before, but access to transportation is access to independence. What we saw during the pandemic was that our bus systems, our bus networks, moved New York. Our most transit-reliant New Yorkers are moving in our bus systems, over 1 million people moving in our bus systems daily. And it is so critical that we allow those buses to move. Today's announcement, this expansion of ABLE, now ACE, will ensure that our buses are in motion, getting New Yorkers and visitors where they want to go in a timely fashion. But for me, this is personal, because I have been at that bus stop where the bus cannot curb. The bus cannot come to the bus stop, either because there's a double parked vehicle or someone blocking that, which disables my ability to get on or off that bus. So it is very personal for over 1 million New Yorkers with disabilities and over 10 million tourists who come to the city every year with some form of disability who ride our systems need an accessible bus stop. And this will ensure that continues to happen. I'm so happy that Demetrius pointed out that this is more than just movement and the flow. We are also tackling the emissions to our environment. You've heard us say in the last couple of months how locked in we are on reducing our carbon emissions, and this will help us get there. This initiative is how we continue to move New York, and we do it in a civically minded way. In our bus network, ensure that there are no transit deserts in New York. Our bus systems go everywhere, 24 hours. And that's why I am so pleased to see this expansion in these 14 lines. Thank you so much, Demetrius, for the work that you have been doing in subways, and I'm so proud of the work that you will continue to do for all of New York City Transit. It is truly a pleasure to call you a friend and a colleague. Unas cuantas palabras en español. Para mí es un gran placer estar aquí hoy con mi hermano y nuestro comisionado de la ciudad, del Departamento de Transporte, Idanis Rodríguez, porque lo que estamos anunciando hoy es más que el movimiento de los autobuses. El acceso para el transporte es acceso a independencia. Y tenemos más de 1 millón de neoyorquinos que dependen del sistema de autobuses para moverse diario, como dijo el comisionado, para llegar a su trabajo, para ir a la escuela, para visitar a sus familiares, o como muchos de nosotros, para ir a un restaurante o una barra después de un largo día de trabajo. Así que para mí es un orgullo asegurar que todos los autobuses sean asequibles y que esas paradas no sean bloqueadas por autobuses. Esto para mí es personal, porque yo he estado dentro de un autobús sin poderme salir porque hay un carro bloqueando la parada o porque no me puedo montar en un autobús porque hay carros bloqueando. Esto asegurará el acceso para todos los usuarios de los autobuses y por eso es un gran día para nosotros aquí en la MTA, haciendo con esta colaboración con la ciudad cuando no ha sido más importante que hoy en día. With that, I'll turn it over to Frank Anacaro, our Senior Vice President for Buses. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Q. Thank you, President Critchlow, Commissioner, and our community leaders. Thank you for your support. So it's a great day for the bus system, and it's pretty hot out here, but the people who are blocking our bus lanes, it's about to get hotter. So I want a moment to thank my team as well as a team with New York City DOT who really worked hard to make this happen. I want to extend an also big thank you to the MTA GCR team who are able to get this legislation through in Albany to make this happen. So in May 2023, we implemented ABLE right here on 181st Street 2 years after the busway was inaugurated. Since then, speeds have increased by 20% over and above the significant increases that we already saw due to the busway itself. Today, the speeds are almost 40% higher than they would have been without the busway and Able combined. We know that camera enforcement is one of the most efficient and effective tools at our disposal. The launch of ACE to enforce bus stops, double parking violators is a real game changer for the bus system when it comes to speed, safety, accessibility, emissions, and just overall being able to serve our communities. We're going to show you a short video here, and you'll see firsthand, practically, on our streets on how congested it is, and they're back to what we were pre-pandemic. It's clear that our bus speeds are among the slowest in the country, and the congestion our bus operators have to navigate through is simply untenable. So we could please play the video here. As you can see here, a bus trying to traverse down a bus lane, and what do we have here? Cars in the right-hand bus lane and a car illegally riding in the bus lane. There's nowhere to go here. Nowhere to go for this bus operator. Now here we have dangerous maneuvers. People double parked in the right lane. Our bus lanes people are driving in our bus lanes and then illegally passing on the left, causing an unsafe situation for the public and our passengers and our operators. Here you're going to see we have people in the bus lanes illegally parked, and as you come up, I know it's difficult to see, what has Brown done for you? Here they are, blocking a bus stop, and the folks with accessibility needs cannot get to our bus. All right, and again, here's another one, double park cars in our bus lanes, pedestrians stepping out into the bus lane, double parked pedestrians. And again, what we're going to see here is our bus stops blocked. I mean, it goes on, just the practicality day in and day out of what we have to deal with every day to try to get our passengers there. Okay, here's a delivery truck, double parked, blocking the lane, causing our bus to have to make a maneuver around on a double lane to only face double parked cars. I mean, the examples are endless. You could travel around on a bus yourself and you could see why ACE is well needed and it's going to be a game changer for us. So with automated camera enforcement, we begin the necessary process of clearing our bus stops and battling these illegal cars and trucks along our routes. And we're very excited to see what the demonstration can do for millions of our New Yorkers who depend on us each day and getting them to where they need to go. So on behalf of our customers, our operators, I have the following warning for drivers in New York City. Do not block our buses. Stay out of our bus lanes, stay out of our bus stops, and don't double park illegally. Thank you. And now I want to pass it on to Lisa Soren, the president of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Sorry, I had to get that in there. Good afternoon. I think everybody has said what they needed to say, and I really want to thank the MTA team and our commissioner for all of this. I think personally, when we had seen the bus lanes being put in, a lot of us as residents were wondering what kind of traffic that would make. Was my first initiative. And then you see how the buses kept moving and the cars. Then you had the cameras catching people who were in the bus lane, which is great, but some people tend to ignore it. This is just adding the icing on the cake. I'll use as an example Fordham Road. Fordham Road, Pelham Parkway is probably horrendous when you're trying to get through for both those in the buses and those of us trying to drive. So to know that, one, the commute for the majority, if not everybody riding these buses becomes so efficient, which makes our lives as drivers and also as commuters much more efficient. You get to move safer, and environmentally it just makes sense. So a huge shout out. I'm proud to be part of this. I'm proud that the Bronx gets to be one of the first ones to get this. And as it was said, drivers move out of the way. Our commuters need to get where they need to go. We need to breathe better. And this just makes sense across the board. So thank you to everyone that made this happen.
Another individual who's been a staunch proponent of transportation, Senator Robert Jackson.
Good morning, everyone. I'm State Senator Robert Jackson, and I represent this area, all of Washington Heights, Inwood, and across this bridge into Kingsbridge Heights, University Heights, Morris Heights. This is all connecting. And I have tens of thousands of constituents of mine that takes the buses every single day back and forward. So the message is loud and clear. If anyone that's driving, that's going to park in a bus stop or double park, beware. Don't say you didn't hear it. Don't say you didn't read it in the papers or heard it on the radio. Inglés y Español, all the different type of languages that we speak in our city. Why? Because time is money. And when you're blocking traffic, then you're stopping our constituents from getting home to their families or to get to work in the morning. And I'd say that loud and clear so that people can say, I didn't know. Now you know. And in fact, no one wants to, I don't want anyone to get a ticket. But if you know you got to get to a stop, give yourself a little bit more time so you can find an appropriate parking space in order to run into whatever store you have to. If you take the chance, then you're going to get a fine. So please, on behalf of all of the people that are depending on New York City Transit Authority buses, please stay out of the way. And yes, the air would be cleaner and more things will happen, especially, in my opinion, and some of you may disagree, congestion pricing. That's all part of the big picture that's going to, to handle all of us coming into the city, whether or not you're commuting into the city or whether or not you're driving in the community to get something done. And you know one thing? I know. I rode here on my bike because I didn't know where I could park at, even though I'm an elected public official and I have a placard, but it doesn't work all the time. So with that, Adonis, MTA, everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you. Our constituents, tens of thousands, know that their life is going to be a lot better by having safe buses and driving them to work and or, you hear all the sirens right now, to work or home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. And for those who, we generally have people who work tirelessly in the front, but there's also an engine that works behind the scene that is continually fighting for our back. And with that, I'd introduce Daniel Pearlstein from Riders Alliance.
Thank you so much. The bag says it all. Real New Yorkers ride the bus. And ACE is about giving bus riders the respect that we deserve. Even more than that, like my Senator Robert Jackson said, time is money. ACE is about giving 2 million bus riders back our time. And to put some numbers to that, the New York City Independent Budget Office found that transit delays are costing riders $280 million a year. They found that in a study commissioned by then Borough President Eric Adams, looking to our future for us. And it's even worse just at the MTA, right? We know the MTA is struggling fiscally, obviously now. Slow bus speeds are costing the MTA upwards of $300 million a year. 3 years ago, the Citizens Budget Commission found that merely speeding up buses 15% would save the MTA $268 million a year. So it's extraordinary the extent to which time is money across New York. Of course, we as New Yorkers, as bus riders, we get it. And now it's time for everybody else to get it too. ACE is that place of respect. Some of the other policies, like my senator suggested, certainly are about respect for the millions of public transit riders and respect, yes, for people on our streets breathing our air and getting services delivered and goods delivered to us all across the city. ACE is about making the city work better together for all of us. Thank you so much.
And we'll also have one more person, Lisa Daglian from Riders Alliance.
Actually, it's Lisa Daglian from the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, but thank you. So ACE shows up, ABLE has showed us that buses can speed up, and we all want to get where we're going faster. A recent study just found that traffic is worse than it ever has been, and that traffic speeds are slower, meaning that buses that are not in able or bus lanes are going slower than chickens can run. So with enforcement through ABLE and now through ACE, we're seeing real progress for real New Yorkers, and it's essential that we keep up this fight to get more progress, more speeds for bus riders, and get us where we're going. So thank you to the MTA, thank you to Albany for making this happen, and thank you to DOT for continuing the fight. Thank you.
All right.
We're going to go to questions, everybody. First question is Andrew Siff of WNBC with the great Justin Lau behind the lens today. Andrew.
Nice to see you guys today. Demetrius, congratulations on the new position.
Thank you.
And the challenges it now will deliver. Since Senator Jackson brought it up unprompted, he wanted to see congestion pricing. And what would that have done in addition to what you're doing now to speed up the buses? And how frustrating is it that you're now left with sort of a much smaller arsenal to tackle that problem?
So I think there's one thing that's clear. We have an amazing workforce, right? Bus aside, subway aside, these folks that have been doing it for the last 100 years will continue to do what they do every day, congestion pricing or not, right? Congestion pricing was the means to get the funding that we need for critical system upgrades. Obviously that's not a good place to be to not have that funding, but the chairman has been pretty clear about making sure that we prioritize the things in our system that are needed, the necessary repairs. So I have all confidence in the chairman and his ability to be able to make the right balance of what we need versus other things that we will have to push back a little bit.
Can I just get Q to respond to the same thing? I'm curious. You haven't spoken out that I've seen since it all changed.
Listen, Andrew, you heard it best from Jano, right? Jano's disappointed, I'm disappointed. This is a huge blow for accessibility. But as Demetrius said, we've been doing a damn good job keeping New Yorkers moving, keeping New Yorkers with disabilities moving. That focus, that priority does not go away. Congestion pricing was a vehicle to make this capital plan whole, but we will continue to move forward with over 70,000 people at the MTA, making sure that New Yorkers are safe and the efficient movement of all New Yorkers throughout the city. Maybe some other funding streams will come. We have a legally binding settlement that requires us to invest a floor of $1 billion a year to do good on our promise. We are not wavering on that promise. Accessibility will continue to be top 2 priority at the MTA, second only to safety.
All right, let's go to Samantha Liebman, New York 1. Sam.
I have 2 questions. One is, didn't the ACE program roll out last month? And if so, do you know how many tickets have been issued? And number 2, how are you preparing the system for the heat wave, especially the subways? Because I know things can go south sometimes with that.
So since it's on topic, I'll ask Frank to speak specifically about the ACE.
So no, the ACE is rolling out actually this week. We're going to begin issuing the warnings. The 60-day warning period begins this week. But you want to take the preparation?
All right, let's go to...
I think there was one more.
Just about the prep for the heat.
Yeah,
So-
can we hold on off topic a second? Evan Simcoe Bednarski, you on topic? No. Greg Mocker, on topic? Pix 11.
In conjunction with the city, what else has to happen? Are you pushing for NYPD to enforce more traffic rules along the bus lanes? And will they do that? Maybe that's to the commissioner.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last
Maybe
question.
that's to the commissioner, to both of you. What is the full package of enforcement here, or is it relying just on the cameras?
So I think we as an agency have been working hard with our city partners. A good show of that is during our G-Train shutdown, working with the city, working with the police, to be able to make sure we target areas where we need to speed up our service, our bus service, and we recognize in advance that is a problematic issue. So the reality is we have to do more with our partners. They are a key stakeholder in this success. Did you want to offer that?
Yeah. So definitely, the patrol division of the NYPD, Commissioner Cavan, Chief Rivera, they're doing a great job working with us. But I think that the most important is the automatic enforcement. The last 2 years have been years that we've been getting this type of accomplishment that we never thought that it was possible. Like a speed camera was expanded 24/7. Red light camera from the 14,000, 13,700 intersection in the last 30 years. New York City only has been allowed to have red light camera in 150 intersections. Previous administration, they were fighting for that in Albany. But this is this administration that was able to expand automatic enforcement with a speed camera, red light camera, and now getting the expansion of automatic enforcement in our buses is something that definitely will make a change in our city.
All right, let's go back to Samantha Lieben. She had an off topic. Sam?
Yes. So, can I ask one more on topic too?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Dispensation.
I just wanted, because I forgot about this, that do you still have that citywide bus lane enforcement task force? And was that on 39 corridors? Can you talk about that? And then we'll get to the subway heat preps.
So yes, to Commissioner Rodriguez's point, thank you very much to Chief Rivera. The Transit Task Force is out there strong, and I think it's about 40 different corridors, but I have to check my math there, and they're very successful. They've given out thousands of summonses and have made a significant difference and continue to do so.
And then the subway heat. Yeah. How are you prepping for the heat?
So
the next few days?
our preparation actually starts in early spring, but that's on both subways and bus, making sure that our equipment has the AC that's necessary to be able to support the extremely hot days. So that does require folks to get out there early, checking filters, and making sure the equipment is properly maintained. But for our workers too, they're the ones that are going to be spending a good portion of time out there, making sure that they're servicing our customers, having the proper breaks for water, recognizing the signs of heat stroke, but also making sure that we're looking out for one another in that vein. You just don't want, this is the type environment we just don't take for granted how problematic the heat can be.
Are you concerned because of the age of the infrastructure? I know Jamie Torres Springer was talking about this year the climate resiliency plan and some backroom things that people don't see, having meltdowns because of the heat. Is there any concern there?
I think when we look at what congestion pricing is going to do, the current funding tied to our expenditures, they're going to focus on the areas that we have to do. If there is a system that is in dire straits and needs to be handled, we'll make sure that we move things around and that gets prioritized for the expenditures. So I have all full confidence in our construction and development team with Jamie Torres that they're gonna spend the amount of time looking at each of the specific assets with us in subways, with us in buses, to make sure that we prioritize the appropriate projects.
All right, and Sam, as you know, and you've told your viewers before, air conditioning on the subways up 99% of the time it works. In buses, it's even higher, right? So I know you've told that to your viewers. You know that. Evan Simcoe Bednarski of the New York Daily News.
Good morning, Demetrius. Got a question for you. I guess it's topic adjacent on cameras. There's about $500 million worth of cameras that were installed in anticipation of congestion pricing, and this is a question for both you and the DOT commissioner. What are those cameras? I know they're up and running. I know they're feeding information. What are they going to be used for? Is there any ability to wire those into enforcement efforts like this? Is it simply tracking at this point? What are they used for?
Are you talking about street cameras or car cameras?
I'm talking about the cameras that were installed for congestion pricing, the gantries.
Okay.
So what I can tell you right now, it's been considered a pause. So those cameras are collecting and are ready to go.
They are collecting, though. They are collecting.
They're on, but again, the program is paused right now. So.
Got it. Commissioner, is DOT using that information for anything at this point?
We collaborate with the MTA. We share, our team, they share information, but as being said, congestion price being imposed, as called by Governor Cuomo, supported by Mayor Eric Adams. So this is what it is. We are imposed.
All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate your questions. For those who are monitoring in your newsrooms, we are going to be sending that video that Frank Annacaro was narrating over before. We're going to send that clean so that you have it. For those who are here, all of you in person, there will be a bus that is departing shortly from across the street. You're welcome to take that bus, get your shots, talk to the riders, whatever you want to do. And if you want, for those of you who have sticks here, you want to leave them, we do have a few police officers who will make sure that nothing bad happens when you get back. They will be here. All right, thanks again, everybody.